Okay, guys, so I finally watched Eternals on Disney Plus, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts about it. So, if you guys don't know what The Eternals is, The Eternals is basically a movie about a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have been secretly living on Earth for thousands of years, and they reunite to battle the evil deviants. So, I was really excited about this movie. I wanted to see it in theaters, but I decided against it because of, the panorama, but also because of the length of time the movie is. It is literally over 2.5 hours long. But I was really excited about the concept of it because, as some of you may know, if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, they touch on it a little bit, what they are, and, how dangerous they are, and all that kind of stuff. And so I was expecting to go into this movie really loving it, really thinking it was really cool and badass and cool, and my biggest critiques would be that way too long, and also way too long of a movie for, in my opinion, I didn't feel like they fleshed out the characters well enough in the beginning. I feel like they should have introduced the characters better. I feel like they did a decent job of it, but I still found myself confused during some aspects of the movie, just saying. But at the end of the day, there were definitely characters I preferred over other characters. We'll get into that. Well, I was really excited because this movie was written and directed by a woman, Chloe Zhao, which, the other thing I didn't love about it, honestly, was the time jumps I wasn't always clear as to, what was happening. To be fair, some of these issues might just be me being slow and stupid, which is possible because I don't always pick up on things. The main character's name is Cersei, and we see her in the current modern day being a teacher, and her boyfriend is played by Kit Harington, Black Knight character, and I thought I really liked her as a character. I thought she was very compelling and relatable in that she really cared about people, and she was just a nice person, I guess, at the end of the day, if you want to say that about her. I liked her. I did. I really did. I also kind of found some of the writing a little strange in the movie, not gonna lie. The action sequences were pretty cool. A couple of my favorite characters, though, were 100%. I like Cersei, Icarus. Makari was awesome. Druig, loved him. Kingo, he was funny. Sprite was cool. To be honest with you, I liked most of the characters. I just really felt that some of the emotional moments in the movie also felt like I wasn't introduced to the character enough to have an emotional connection to them, to care about whether or not they lived or died. And also, the idea of the Eternals, to me, I'm assuming that means that I assumed going into it that they never died. But spoiler alert, some of them do die in this movie. So that kind of threw me for a loop, honestly. After I watched it, I was like, how exactly does that make sense? But we had our first deaf superhero in this movie, which honestly, I was thinking about it, and she was so good in this movie that I didn't feel like she needed to talk to express herself and to have charisma and charm, and it just goes to show you that you really don't need to speak. It was kind of like a silent movie when she was on the screen, but in a good way. It didn't, great actors can emote with their faces without saying a word. They can really show how they feel through their faces and their facial expressions and just their eyes and everything. And she really did that, in my opinion. She had so much charisma and character and just awesome. She was great. Angelina Jolie. I really liked her in the movie, and I found her storyline to be interesting because she had some issues with her memories and, and she, all that. I'm trying not to give any spoilers away, but yeah, it was definitely interesting. Salma Hayek played Ajak, the kind of the leader / mother figure of the group. She was fine. And I love how diverse the cast is. That's great. But yeah, she was fine to me. She wasn't in the movie that long. Yeah, my biggest qualm with the movie. There were some twists and turns also in the movie that were interesting and definitely like threw me for a loop and were quite weird, honestly, too. But at the end of the day, I did like this movie. I also felt like they put too much into this movie. They could have separated this movie into 2 movies and made it like the first Eternals like an introduction to these characters and this world and this idea, because this is a brand new Marvel like comic and universe to the Marvel universe itself, and like this hasn't been touched on very much in the past, so most people didn't know what to expect when they came into this storyline. So I felt like for that purpose there could have been more introduction with the characters and the storyline in general. I just felt that I didn't feel enough of a connection to these characters to really care about them all as much as I should have. But given the writing that they were given and everything, I did like the characters, most of them. I just felt that the concept and the characters could have been introduced better, is my point. But yeah, and then they could have had a second movie where they dealt with the deviants and stuff. Like, I just felt like it reminded me of Wonder Woman 2. I just feel like they put too many elements into these movies and they don't give you enough introduction to these new characters. And I feel like if you put too much into a movie, it can feel overwhelming and you don't really necessarily... Like, for example, comparing this to another very popular movie right now, Don't Look Up. To be fair, they're not the same movie. One is a superhero movie, one is about the end of the world. To be fair, in some ways, you can kind of call superhero movies similar to end of the world movies. You know, they're usually saving the world in those kinds of superhero movies from some bad thing happening or somebody, Thanos, you know. But I never felt like Don't Look Up. They introduced the characters well enough that you cared about them. And also, the part of the problem might have been that they had they had 10 characters in Eternals. 10 people as a part of this main cast. And the funny thing is they were going to bring in more characters into it, but then they thought that'd be too many characters. But I don't know, maybe that's part of it. I'm not really sure. I just felt like comparing it to Don't Look Up, I don't know if I feel like it's too many characters or if it was just not introduced well enough, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the problem with it is for me. I'm not comparing it to this, But at the end of the day, I did like the movie. It's a good movie. I would say if you haven't seen it, go check it out on Disney+. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I just felt like it was really long and could have benefited from a bit more introduction and a bit more maybe nuance. I just really think if it was 2 movies instead of 1, it could have been better too, honestly. Especially for something as brand spanking new as Eternals. Like, most people don't even, going into this movie, most people didn't even know what to expect or like anything about these characters, because it's one of those comic books that's way outside of, the normal everyday, like Captain America, Thor, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I really like the characters. The deviants were interesting. One even talked, spoiler alert. But yeah, I personally felt that it could have been better, but it was a good movie. Let me know what you guys think down below about this movie. Did you see it? Are you going to see it? Did you think it was too long? Did you love the direction and the writing? Who's your favorite character for the Eternals movies? Like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and comment below what you guys think and thought about this movie. I would love to talk to you guys in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.